everyone. Myself Neha Shah from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology from the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Today I am going to explain you the topics direct and cascade form structures for FIR system, linear phase FIR structure, and effects of coefficient quantization from the unit of structures for discrete time systems from the subject of digital signal processing. Up to last session, I had explained you different structures like direct form 1, direct form 2, cascade form, parallel form structure for IIR system, means infinite impulse response system, right? Now today I am going to explain for FIR system, means finite impulse response system. So starting with the first topic, which one is direct form structure for FIR system. Now if we are taking convolution for any system, then it will represent it as y of n equals to x of n convolved with h of n. If we are using the commutative property, then we can also say that h of n is convolved with x of n is also same as x of n convolved with h of n, right? So by using commutative property, we can say that y of n equals to x of n convolved with h of n is equals to y of n convolved with x of n. Now, if we are applying the convolution rule, so for that you can say that this equals to summation k equals to minus infinite to infinite h of k x of n minus k. Now, if we are taking the finite impulse response, so the range will change because we have to take some finite samples only, right? So, suppose if I am taking n number of samples, so the range will be starting from 0, then we have to take up to n minus 1 sample. So the equation of y of n equals to summation k equals to 0 to n minus 1 h of k into x of n minus k. Now in this equation, suppose if I am taking different values of k, then the term will be like this: h of 0 x of n plus h of 1 x of n minus 1 plus up to last term is h of n minus 1 into x of n minus n plus 1. If I am taking the last value as capital N minus 1 instead of k, so the term will be like this. Now, if we are drawing the graph for this, then suppose if we are representing this in the form of graph for direct form, so for that from this equation directly we will drawing the graph. Suppose in this equation, suppose if we will taking the input sequence as x of n, and if you want to represent this x of n with delay unit, so for delay unit we have to use z inverse. So it will give you the delay by a factor of 1. So the output will be considered as x of n minus 1. Now we have to multiply this term with h of 1. Similarly, we are taking the next term as x of n minus 2. So for that, if we are using the canonic form, so for that we have to use 2z inverse term. So first of all, we are taking input sequence x of n, it will go through the z inverse, so the output will be x of n minus 1. Here the term will be multiplied as h of 1. Then this term is also gone in the z inverse term, so it will give you the output as x of n minus 2, right? Now this term will multiply with the impulse response h of 2. So it will give you the output as h of 2 into x of n minus 2. Now we have to combine all this term by taking summation to generate the direct form for the FIR system. So if we will apply the input sequence x of n to z inverse, so it will give you x of n minus 1. The first term is as it is, like from this equation you can say that h of 0 is multiplied with x of n, right? So for that, this x of n is directly multiplied with h of 0. This will be added with this term. So the next term is x of n minus 1. This will be multiplied with h of 1, right? So to derive this, you can say that this one is x of n minus 1. So it will multiply with h of 1. Now if we are adding these two terms, it will give you that output as x of n into h of 0 plus h of 1 into x of n minus 1. Similarly, we will apply the output of it to the further z inverse term. So it will apply to the delay unit, and after all the summation, it will give you the final output as y of n. So this way we can find out for n number of samples. So this will be considered as finite impulse response system. Now the next topic is cascade form structures for FIR systems. So if you want to derive the cascade form structure for FIR system, so how will deriving it? It will be derived as if we will applying the input sequence to any system, so it will give you some output. So this system's impulse response will consider like h1 of n. Now output of it will be given to the second system. Then output of it will be considered as the final output y of n. The second system's impulse response is suppose h2 of n. So overall this system will be considered as cascade form, and the overall response will be considered as h of n equals to h1 of n into h2 of n. So it will be considered as the cascade form or the series form, means output of the first system is given to the second system and output of it will be given to the third and further. And from the last system we will taking the final output. So if we considering this cascade form structure, so for that h of z will be considered as summation k equals to 0 to n minus 1 h of k into z is to minus k if we are taking that transform of it. And as you know that we are taking for finite impulse response system, so we are taking only the finite number of samples. Now, if we're considering this system as cascade form, so for that we're considering that overall system response h of z equals to h1 of z into h2 of z up to the last term is hk of z, as I have told you. Now, if we're representing hk of z, then it will be representing as h of k0 plus h of k1 z inverse plus h of k2 z is to minus 2. If I am taking any system with delay of 2. Now, if I am representing the impulse response, then it will representing as hk of z equals to yk of z divided by xk of z. It means the impulse response equals to output upon input, right? Now, from this we can say that hk of z equals to yk of z divided by xk of z equals to h of k0 plus h of k1 into z is to minus 1 plus h of k2 z is to minus 2. Now, if we multiply xk of z on both the sides, so the first term will consider as h of k0 into xk of z plus h of k1 z inverse into xk of z plus h of k2 z is to minus 2 xk of z. Now, if we are taking inverse that transform on both the sides, then this term will representing as yk of n, because if we are taking inverse that transform of yk of z, so it will gives you yk of n. So yk of n equals to h of k0 xk of n plus h of k1. This term will combinedly consider as xk of n minus 1, because this will be considered as time shifting property, right? So instead of this, we will write xk of n minus 1, and instead of this, we will consider xk of n minus 2. So the final term will be h of k2 xk of n minus 2. Now from this, if we draw in the graph, so from this you can say that this one is h of k0 into xk of n, right? So here xk of n will be multiplied with hk of 0. Now this will get added with the next term, which one is xk of n minus 1 into h of k1. The second term is h of k1 into xk of n minus 1, right? So n minus 1 will be derived by taking one delay unit. So xk of n is given to one delay unit, so it will generating xk of n minus 1, and this gets multiplied with h of k1, so it will give you the final term. Now this xk of n minus 1 is again given to the z inverse term, means delay unit, so it will give you the final output as xk of n minus 2. Now this term plus this term, it will give you the final term of yk of n. Now this one unit gets multiplied, it means it will be in the form of series, so overall it will give you the final term like this. So this x of n will given to the h1 of z, like suppose if I am considering this as the h1 of z, so number of this kind of unit will be combinedly considered as this as the cascade form structure for the FIR system. Now the next topic is linear phase FIR structure. Now, what is the meaning of linear phase FIR structure and why we are using this kind of structure? FIR filter has linear phase if it satisfies the following condition. Now, what is the condition? H of n equals to h of n minus 1 minus n. And for that, the value of n equals to 0, 1 to up to n minus 1. Now, here the value of capital M equals to number of samples. So, after half number of samples, it will be same as the before the half number of samples. So, this one is the basic condition for this. Now, if we are taking the Z transform of the impulse response, so it will representing as h of z equals to summation n equals to 0 to n minus 1, h of n into z raised to minus n. Okay. So, the next step is h of z equals to summation n equals to 0 to n by 2 minus 1, because we will dividing the whole part into two parts like n by 2 and n by 2. So, the term will be summation n equals to 0 to n by 2 minus 1. H of n z raised to minus n plus summation n equals to m by 2 to m minus 1 h of n into z raised to minus n. Here we have taken the range as m by 2 minus 1. Why? Because suppose if I am taking capital M equals to 6. 6 means the value of n equals to 6. It means 6 samples are there, right? So if we want to get 6 samples, so we are starting with 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 5, right? So if we want to take half number of samples, so for that we have to take 0, 1 and 2, right? So how 2 will be deriving? If I am taking m by 2 minus 1, now what is the value of m? M equals to 6, so 6 by 2 means 3 minus 1 means 2, right? So up to 2 the value, the range will be there. So 0, 1 and 2 will be in the first part, and after 2 means from 3 to 6, or we can say that from 3 to 5, the value will get in the second portion. Now we will applying the condition for linear phase. It means h of n equals to h of n minus 1 minus n. So in this, suppose if we are changing the range, so what will be the new n? New n will be considered as n double dash. So if I am taking n equals to n minus 1 minus n double dash, so for that, according to that, the range will be changed for the new n. Okay. So if I am taking the value of n equals to m by 2, so what will be the new range instead of this? So if I am putting m by 2 in this equation, so m by 2 minus 1, so from this we can get the value of n double dash, right? So n double dash equals to m by 2 minus 1. Now instead of this n equals to m minus 1, so here instead of n, if I am taking n minus 1, so from that we will getting the value of new n, which is 0. So this range will be changed from m by 2 minus 1 to 0. So the next step is h of z equals to summation n equals to 0 to m by 2 minus 1 h of n z raised to minus n plus summation n equals to 0 to m by 2 minus 1 h of n minus 1 minus n into z raised to minus n minus 1 minus n. Now from this to summation, as you can see that the range of summation will be same, right? So we are taking it as the common part. So summation n equals to 0 to m by 2 minus 1 into h of n. This z raised to minus n will be as it is, and this z raised to minus m minus 1 minus n will be here. Now here from here we are taking two different cases. If the value of n will be even or if it will be odd. Okay, so for that we are taking the first case, which one is for even m. The value of h of z equals to y of z divided by x of z. So y by x, it means h. So instead of h, we are writing like this. Now this term will be as it is. Okay. Now from that, if we are taking inverse z transform, so overall answer will be y of n equals to h of 0 into x of n plus x of n minus 1 plus h of 1 into x of n minus 1 plus x of n minus m minus 2 up to the last term will be like this, h of n by 2 minus 1 into x of n minus m by 2 minus 1 plus x of n minus m by 2. Now as we have taken the even case, so we will taking the value of n equals to 6. Okay. So if I am taking 6 and if we are putting the value of n equals to 6 in this equation. So from that we can draw this graph. Now how I am drawing this graph? The output will be considered as y of n. So for that we are taking the input signal as x of n. Now this x of n will get added with x of n minus m minus 1, right? So this will be added with this x of n minus m minus 1. Now instead of this m, if I am considering 6, so 6 minus 1 means 5. So for this, it will consider as x of n minus 5, right? So if you want to find x of n minus 5, we are taking 5 different z inverse term. So our overall output we consider as x of n minus 5. Now this 2 get added over here in the summation portion, and this term will multiply with h of 0. So output of this will be multiplied with h of 0. Similarly, we will deriving these two terms, so it will deriving from here. And overall summation of this will gives you the final output as y of n. So this way we can derive the linear phase FIR structure. Now the last topic is effects of coefficient quantization. Now what is the meaning of this? Suppose if I am taking the quantization, what is the process of quantization? If we want to convert any signal from analog to digital, so for that first of all we have to convert the continuous time signal into the discrete time form by taking sampling process. So it will convert it in the form of discrete time. Then the next step is we have to convert the whole amplitude into number of levels by using the quantization process. And according to that particular sample's value will approximating it in the form of digital values like ones and zeros. So from that we can derive the digital signal from the analog. So in this process we are using the quantization. But in the quantization process we are approximating the number of levels, right? So in that, by approximation process, it will generating some difference from the original function, right? So for that, it will generating some effects. That effect will consider as coefficient quantization effect. So the maximum error in the coefficient value will be bounded in this region. It will be minus 2 raised to minus b plus 1 to 2 raised to minus b plus 1. So maximum error can be this. So the maximum possible error will be in this range. The error in the frequency response is given by error function EF of omega equals to summation n equals to 0 to n minus 1 EH of n into e raised to j omega n. So first of all we will finding the error coefficient EH of n, and then we will finding its frequency response by taking Fourier transform. So after taking Fourier transform, we can derive its frequency response. We can reduce the quantization error by setting the number of levels and the step size. So by truncating the signal, we can reduce the coefficient quantization error.